The first speed bump appeared on a Tuesday morning. I was backing out of my driveway when my sedan jolted violently over a freshly poured concrete ridge that hadn't been there the night before. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding, and stepped out to inspect the damage. Right across the entrance to my driveway, where my property met the neighborhood street, sat a brand new speed bump, still wet and gleaming in the early sunlight. A small orange construction cone leaned against it like a forgotten warning. I lived at the end of Maplewood Lane, a quiet cul-de-sac in a neighborhood governed by the Maplewood Heights HOA. My home sat on 2 acres, slightly larger than most properties in the area, and my driveway was the only access point to my land. The street itself, technically mine. Or at least, the easement was. When I bought the property 3 years ago, the title search revealed something important. I owned the private easement that connected my driveway to the main road. The HOA had access rights to use it, but any modifications required my written consent. I'd never had problems with the HOA before. They were the typical suburban overseers, obsessed with mailbox colors and lawn height, but generally harmless. Until now. By noon, I'd received a letter in my mailbox. It was from Patricia Brennan, the HOA president. The letter was brief and cold. Dear resident, as part of our ongoing traffic safety improvements, speed bumps have been installed along Maplewood Lane to reduce vehicle speeds and protect our children. Compliance is mandatory. Thank you for your cooperation. No consultation. No vote. No permission. I called Patricia immediately. This is illegal, I said calmly. You installed a speed bump on my easement without my consent. Her voice dripped with condescension. The HOA has authority over all common areas, including streets. This is for the safety of the community. It's not a common area. I own the easement. Check the plat map. There was a pause. Then she laughed, short, sharp, dismissive. You don't own the street, Mr. Holloway. Don't be ridiculous. Actually, I do. And you have 48 hours to remove it, or I'm contacting my attorney. She hung up. 2 days later, the speed bump was still there. In fact, there were now 2, one at each end of my driveway. Patricia had doubled down. I didn't waste time. I contacted my real estate attorney, who sent a formal cease and desist letter to the HOA, along with a copy of the easement deed and survey maps. The letter was clear. The speed bumps were an illegal encroachment on private property and must be removed within 7 days, or legal action would follow. Patricia's response came via email that same evening. She accused me of being selfish, anti-community, and a danger to children. She claimed the HOA had every right to make improvements and that I was abusing a technicality. She ended with a threat: if you pursue this, we will fine you for non-compliance and place a lien on your property. I replied with one sentence: see you in court. The lawsuit was filed the following week. My attorney argued that the HOA had committed trespassing, property damage, and breach of easement rights. We sought removal of the speed bumps, compensation for vehicle damage, and legal fees. The HOA hired a lawyer, expensive, arrogant, and clearly underestimating the case. During the preliminary hearing, their attorney tried to argue that the easement was functionally public and that my objections were frivolous. The judge didn't agree. After reviewing the deed, the survey, and the title history, the judge ruled in my favor. The speed bumps were illegal. The HOA was ordered to remove them within 72 hours, pay for repairs to my vehicle, and cover my legal fees, totaling just over $8,000. But I wasn't done. During discovery, my attorney uncovered something interesting. Patricia had approved the speed bump installation without a board vote, violating the HOA's own bylaws. Several board members had no idea the project was happening. Armed with this information, I attended the next HOA meeting. The room was packed. Word had spread. I stood up during open comments and calmly presented the facts. Patricia had acted unilaterally, ignored property law, cost the HOA thousands in legal fees, and exposed them to further liability. The board was furious. A motion was made to remove Patricia as president. It passed unanimously. She stood up, red-faced and shaking. "You're all going to regret this," she shouted, pointing at me. "He's a bully. A selfish bully." No one responded. She grabbed her purse and stormed out. The speed bumps were removed 2 days later. The HOA issued a formal apology and updated their policies to require property verification before any street modifications. As for Patricia, she resigned from the board entirely and moved out of the neighborhood within 6 months. I still live at the end of Maplewood Lane. My driveway is clear. My easement is respected. And every time I back out onto that smooth, bump-free street, I smile, knowing that arrogance, even when wrapped in bureaucracy, always has a price.